Hello, ladies and gents, it's Hagbard Celine here on another beautiful afternoon, and today we are going to be discussing the very uncomfortable concept of buck breaking and sex farms during the slave trade. Now, I'm going to read a couple of articles that I can find only on Afrocentric news sources, and then we're going to watch the video, for all intents and purposes, the video, that has circulated this idea. This will be broken into two parts. This will be part one, wherein we will analyze the articles that I've found, and part two will be where we watch the video that is used as a citation for several of these articles. So, without further ado, let's just leap right into this madness, shall we? The process of breaking the buck involves perhaps the most heinous and atrocious acts known to man. And then a little removed video from Pulp Fiction that I'm fairly certain I know the scene, but it's not technically related. A strapping Negro slave who was defiant, surly, and may stir up trouble, was beaten with a whip till bloody in front of his entire slave congregation. The slave owner, deathly afraid of an uprising, would cut down a tree, and with the help of the overseer would then pummel the deviant buck into submission. Once the slave was worn down, the white master had the other Negro slaves force him over the tree stump, where his breeches would be removed and laid fully exposed and ripe for the taking. What came next caused fear and terror to ripple through every slave plantation across the South. Yes, ladies and gents, I know that sounds like a ridiculous fanfic, but no, this is exactly what they think regularly occurred. The master, drunk on bloodlust, would explain to all strong, young black men that if they do not follow strict orders and comply with the whims of the overseer and the master, this too would be their fate. He removed his own clothing and proceeded to savagely sodomize the buck in front of his wife, family, friends, and children. He then invites his associates from other plantations to join in the nigger festivities. In order for his plan to take effect, he would require the buck's male child to watch, front row center, so he too can witness his father's sexual demise and humiliation. Buck breaking was the slave master's very effective tool to keep all young black slaves from ever being defiant and taking revenge. It also frightened the mothers and wives from giving consent to an uprising. Buck breaking was so successful that it was made into a sex farm where white men could travel from plantation to plantation, feeding their sadistic homosexual needs. If there was ever any doubt that the white race is our mortal enemy, please remove all doubt and see the truth for what it is, an example of modern day buck breaking. Again, the picture's gone, it's as dead as the link. Those of us that do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of these two terms during slavery because it was never taught in school. Anyway, these two terms have been the most disgusting things that have ever happened to black people. The term buck breaking, or breaking the buck, is when the homosexual slave owner would purchase a slave with a large penis. I'm not sure why the slave owner would have to be homosexual, to do sexual acts on other male slaves who may have been defiant. The slave owner would then whip the slave in front of the whole congregation, including his family, until bloody. Once the slave is worn out and submissive, the slave owner would have the younger male slave with the large penis rape him. After the slave raped his fellow slave, and the slave owner would also have his way with the slave and have other slave owners participate. Our school systems are failing. This is terribly written sentences. The slave owner would also have his son sit in front to watch the torture as a tactic to make sure the slave's son wouldn't seek revenge. Bad tactic, you kill the son if you have him watch. He kinda wants revenge, idiot. Disgusting, right? This practice later turned into sex farms, where slave owners would carry out their sick acts on slaves. In these sex farms, they would make slaves have orgies, same sex, and they would also join in. Amazing how we really knew how sick slave owners can be. I mean, we had a clue, but this is proof. Like, really? What are your thoughts? Well, you don't have any thoughts, so I won't warrant you with any. All I can say is that your typing is atrocious. You haven't put this together very well, and I'd like you to note the date, March 2016. It's 2016 that this meme got rolling, by the way. And then this article from Worldly Game, where he discusses aspects of Machiavellianism and game, because he's dumbed Machiavellianism down to game. Buck breaking, the how-to on conquering black males. This is still taking place today, but more so by using the nuance game or subtle manipulation. An example of a modern day buck breaking is hip hop artists in dresses, black athletes being promoted and gaining attention for being homosexual, highlighting transgender people on magazine covers, and stating that it is the new civil rights movement. So you have some more propaganda that's being played out in this new Indiana law. I'll get on how this is propaganda in minutes. So you have coons like Charles Barkley coming out saying discrimination in any form is unacceptable. Code word for black people. Be homophobic if you want to. We will come and get you. So let's get into this propaganda and on how the subtle manipulation game works. All my conspiracy savvy players, peep game. White supremacy will often have a long-term social engineering agenda. Opinion, which is in capitals for some reason, is molded through the application of propaganda techniques using the problem, reaction, solution method. Moreover, by the way, this goes for any subject matter. I'm pointing out how this is being used to push homosexuality on blacks. I love these people that think you can push homosexuality on anyone. That's not how this works, friend. Sorry. Here's how it works. The desired solution may be that in approximately 30 years from now, maybe one generation, homosexual dominance and no more black family unit will be socially accepted. If they wish to continue ruling black people, this is a very important step towards the white supremacist power structure. Dude, you seriously think that it's possible to make blacks in America even homosexually dominant? I mean, the black family unit's a joke already. Let's not get into that, but on average, it's like 75% without fathers, but you're gonna come at making people homosexual? I don't think that's gonna happen, man. The desired reaction is that the black general public accepts homosexuality as a natural evil. The systems cannot be rolled out in secrecy, so the public needs to be made aware of the agenda and take a part of it. An outrage is destined to occur, therefore it is advisable to scientifically design and control such outrage via the media. The population, therefore, needs to be made angry about homosexuality being pushed upon us, and the black puppet leaders serve as role models to instruct the population how the emotional and rational reaction should look like. Seriously, bro, all bullshit aside, your English is fucking terrible. Why can't one of you write in decent English? Just like any myth or fairy tale, certain hero figures can serve as role models or serve as role models. It's not serve as role model. To drive the story. Most people will accept this, but more active up-on-game elements of black society will try to organize resistance, and such resistance has several distinct advantages for the white supremacist. So you shouldn't be doing this, technically. By your own argument here, you shouldn't be resisting it. Resistance strengthens the process by raising awareness. It can accelerate the implementation of an agenda by focusing mass consciousness or mass ritual. The universe knows existence and non-existence, but there is no way of resonating against something. An anti-gay rights discussion is therefore an impossibility and only strengthens the concept of homosexuality, just like an anti-cancer day strengthens the concept of cancer. This is why pharmaceutical companies organize disease days. Peep game. Holy shit, I just realized you're completely insane. You actually believe that the pharmaceutical companies are doubling down and reinforcing the concept of cancer? B. Observable resistance serves as honeypot for the system to better identify the opposition. The up-on-game We Are Resistance movement. Yeah, so if you stand up and say, I'm resisting this, more people will know that you're part of a group and that group is resisting it. Congratulations, Sherlock, you win. Resistance serves as a yardstick for expected dynamics, to measure the viability of certain chess moves and to plan the timing of an agenda. The NSA and CIA use superpower computers to simulate the future. Example, recorded future. You really believe this, don't you, bud? The problem that is thus being sketched in the media in order to cause the required reaction from the public is to start a discussion about the discrepancy between family and cultural ethics on one hand and gay civil rights on the other. This discussion is currently being stage acted for the media by high-ranking politicians. Top politicians are paid actors, some of whom are in the know and others are useful idiots. Now, seriously, can you learn to close your quotations? You've done this several times where you open and do not close your quotes. Once again, terrible typist, awful at the English language. So, Miss Up on Game is upset, the fake black conservative is outraged, and Miss Coon-ass nigga is seeking a dialogue. While the truth of the matter is, these people are well aware of the fact that so-called gay rights goes much, much deeper than is being revealed, and that the agenda is only being revealed on the lowest scale in order to create a reaction, which is supposed to lead to a predefined solution. Genius minds are employed in major think tanks to design problems and public reactions that produce predefined solutions. Hey, check it out, guys. Black conspiracy theorist. I honestly didn't know there were that many out there. As someone that holds no animus to any members of the LGBT community for their residence in this group, and also a black man that works in the death grip of white supremacy to earn enough to survive and help out my family and friends to the best of my ability, I must say the following towards any black or African man who believes that gay men are weak by nature and less than a real man due to a preconceived natural servility and acquiescence of a sexual nature that is extrapolated out to all other human interactions. Memo to all black men. The greatest sign of our collective civility to the white mind is not our sexual identity of a homosexual nature or anything else. It is the blatant, obsequious nature we exhibit in every other aspect of our lives as we traipse off to work every day to prop up a system that has been committing genocide on black people across the globe for centuries now. If you got the average white person to list the reasons why black people are naturally inferior, homosexuality wouldn't even make the list. It is a preoccupation totally in the black male mind. Using prison as an extreme example, it wouldn't be the homosexuality that is practiced in prison by all people in any place, be it by force or choice, where white judgment would reside, but that we allow the state to imprison our children at increasing rates and sit silently while the adults are institutionalized to the point where it is becoming our normal existence. Well, stop committing heinous crimes and you won't get locked up for very large periods of time. Trust me. In this passage, we can see that he's actually quite close to understanding that it's internalized, that this is entirely within black males in the United States, and is not a form of white supremacy or white domineeringness. But of course, that would have to be admitting that there was something wrong intrinsically with the community. And instead, we're going to land on fuck white people, as usual. The fact that black men continuously harp on the fear of being perceived as weak due to this idiotic focus on homosexuality being synonymous with black men in the white mind is sickening, since we are two-legged swine and soldiers policing, imprisoning, and killing black and brown people in all corners of the world, helping to build bombs and munitions to dissipate non-Anglicans without care, assisting in every type of parasitic relationship between the global north and the global south, handmaidens in the destruction of the earth itself, and innumerable other endeavors which make it plainly clear that it hasn't sunk into our thick collective souls that this is what it really makes the usual white man laugh at us while shrugging his shoulders at our sex lives. If anything, the only reason the average white person would want more black folks on earth is to profit off our misery that has always been comparable to a child burning ants with a magnifying glass for personal amusement. You do realize you just said that white people were human while black people were essentially ants. That is an extremely fucked up position for you to put both the black and white people in this scenario. But, okay. Yet Negroes will isolate their existence to this non-issue in the white mind to the detriment of everything else in the real importance in the greatest mass delusion in society. The constant current harangue of black men shouting they aren't gay is akin to a boy incessantly telling his father that he is strong. Then, in a sign of total dismissiveness that is above the child's head, where he placates the boy's entreaties with a smile and encouragement that masks inner laughter about the childish musings, white men snicker behind the back of black men and roll their eyes. I'm waiting for the day when black men start making this a part of their general introduction to white people, since they're fixated on their views as these sexually feminine or masculine individuals. Hi, my name is James, and I'm not gay. The same Negro who preens with pride with shit like, once you go black, you never go back, or the mythology of the size of black genitalia, is the same MFer, you actually wrote MFer, who becomes angry at any slights against his manhood, with homosexuality being the greatest one, and having all of this encompass the greatest sign of self-debasement, where the black man has turned himself into the very animal we have always said we weren't in our own fucking mind. Yes, correct. You're doing it to yourself. Although a person who is guilty of helping to contribute to this system myself to whatever degree, even if it is for altruistic reasons such as helping out as many people as I can financially as long as I can until I can't take it anymore, or the white man I work for has no more use for me, I can still say the above since I not only hold no animus towards the LGBT community, but align my liberation efforts with theirs in removing the shackles of oppression from all our lives wherever they may reside. Yeah, I'm linking all these, so feel free to go read the comments here. That's the serious joy. This next website was simply included to illustrate that it is one of many into which the video that will encompass part 2 was included as evidence. It's being included as evidence of this. Between this video and what's known as the Atlanta Black Star, a publication which, frankly, I don't advise anyone ever use as a citation, are the only two that anyone is using as reference for this. It's completely insane. As noted by even other users, like in this comment, where someone is even willing to believe, but they just need a little bit more evidence than this video and a citation in Atlanta Black Star. But we all know that this gentleman is just being racist when he asks for any evidence or citations or source material, right? Especially being racist when he says that one of the pictures being used is actually from the Arab slave trade, taken by a French photographer to illustrate how heinous the slave trade was. Black supremacists, you're losing even your own audience. That person couldn't believe how outlandish and outrageous this was. And you using nothing but footage from movies that were intended to be shocking does not make your point any stronger, as we'll see in the next video on Thursday, part 2 in this little series. That said, ladies and gentlemen, that's all from me for now. I hope this has been a nice little appetite whetting for the madness to come in the video. Thanks for watching, I hope you've enjoyed. Stay safe, good luck, and goodbye.